Uh, Virgo, someone is coming, not eventually, not in that vague, could mean anything, trust the timing way that leaves you holding a hope with no shape to it. Someone specific, someone real, someone who is already in motion in the direction of your life and who does not yet know the full extent of what they are walking toward. But they are walking toward it anyway because something reached them. Your energy reached them. Not because you were trying to be reached, not because you did something designed to attract attention or position yourself or make yourself visible to the right people. You were simply being who you are, living your life, doing the quiet, unglamorous daily work of being yourself without apology and without performance. And it reached someone from a distance in the way that certain signals travel farther than others, in the way that something real always eventually finds its way to the people who know how to recognize real when they encounter it. This person knows, and they are coming. Let me tell you who this is. Not with a name, with a truth. This is not someone from your past wearing new clothes, not a familiar pattern returning in a different body, not another version of what you have already navigated. This is genuinely new. New in the way that you can feel the difference between something genuinely new and something that just looks new from the outside. That clean quality, that absence of the specific residue that previous dynamics leave behind. No weight of old story between you, no history to manage or navigate around. Just two people meeting at the exact right moment in both of their lives and recognizing something. This person has been built by their experiences the way you have been built by yours. They carry the specific earned quality of someone who has been through something real and came out of it, not hardened, but clarified, not closed, but selective, not afraid, but careful, in the way that genuine wisdom makes a person careful rather than the way that fear does. They chose carefully. They chose you. Not yet in the obvious sense, not yet in the sense of a declaration or a conversation or a moment you can point to, but in the deeper sense, in the sense of everything in them orienting toward the direction of where you are, of decisions being made, consciously or not, that keep moving them closer rather than further. The choosing is already happening. You are simply not yet aware of all of it. Here is what I need you to understand about the timing of this. It is not a coincidence. Nothing about the specific moment this person enters your life is accidental. The timing is the message, because you are not the same person you were 12 months ago, not 6 months ago, not even 3 months ago, if you are being honest with yourself. Something shifted, not dramatically, not in a way that required an announcement or a reinvention or any of the visible markers of change that other people would be able to point to and name. Internally, something settled. The specific, quiet, unglamorous settling that happens when a person stops fighting with their own reality and begins to actually inhabit it. When the energy that was being spent on resistance gets redirected into presence, when you stop bracing for what might go wrong long enough to actually be available for what is going right, that settling changed something in the frequency of what you broadcast. And this person is on the frequency you are broadcasting now, not the old one, the new one, the one that is more honest, more grounded, more fully you, than the version you were presenting when you were still in the middle of figuring out who you were on the other side of everything you survived. The you that is coming through now is the you they are responding to. And that you is the realest version of yourself you have ever been. Do you feel it? Not the person necessarily, but the shift in the air around your life lately, something looser, something with more room in it than there used to be. Have you noticed yourself making decisions recently with a kind of quiet confidence that did not always come this easily? Or letting things go that previously would have taken up months of your energy? That is not coincidence either. That is preparation. Your life has been making room. Tell me in the comments if you have felt this. If something in the last weeks or months has felt like clearing, like things falling away, not randomly, but with the specific purposefulness of something making space for what comes next. Because I think many of you already know something is coming. You just needed someone to confirm the knowing. Consider it confirmed. Now, I need to say something about the change this title promises, because powerful change is a phrase that gets used a lot, and I want to be honest with you about what it actually means in your specific situation. The change coming is not a rescue. It is not someone arriving to fix what is broken or solve what is unsolvable or fill what is empty. If you are waiting for that version of change, this reading is asking you to put that version down gently, without self judgment. But down, what is coming is an amplification. Someone entering your life who operates at a level that raises the level of everything around them, not because they are superior or more valuable than the people already in your world, but because of what they carry, because of the specific quality of their presence and their vision and their genuine investment in the people they choose to invest in. They will see things in you that have not yet been seen at the level they deserve to be seen. Not because those things were not there, they were always there, but because seeing requires a particular quality of vision, and this person has developed it through their own journey, has learned to look past the surface of people and situations into what is actually present. And what is actually present in you is going to stop them in the best way, in the way that makes a person look twice and then look again and then stop pretending they are not looking. I want to talk about the surprise inside the surprise. Because the title of this reading promises something that will leave you speechless, and I want to tell you where the real speechlessness lives. It is not in who they are, it is in what their arrival reveals about who you are. Because when someone of genuine substance, someone with real discernment and real standards and real capacity to see clearly, chooses to orient toward you the way this person is orienting toward you, it holds up a mirror. And the mirror shows you something. It shows you the version of yourself that this person is responding to, the actual you, not the version filtered through your own self criticism, not the version running on the operating system of every unkind thing that was ever said or implied or suggested about your worth, not the version that has been quietly, persistently, sometimes devastatingly underselling itself for longer than it should have. The actual you. And that version is extraordinary. Not in the performed, everyone gets a trophy sense. in the real, specific, this is genuinely rare sense. The combination of things you carry, the way you think and feel and move through the world, the specific quality of your attention and your care and your standards and your depth, that combination does not walk around on every corner. This person has been looking, probably without naming what they were looking for exactly that combination. And they found it in you without you having to engineer it or present it or make yourself into something designed to be found. Just by being who you are, that is the part that will leave you speechless when you finally understand it fully, not them. The fact that simply being you was always enough. Now, something important. There is a thing you have been doing that needs to stop before this arrives fully. I am going to name it directly because you deserve directness more than you deserve comfort right now. You have been hedging, not on everything, but on the specific territory of allowing yourself to receive something good without immediately installing an exit strategy, without immediately identifying the thing most likely to go wrong, without holding one part of yourself back as insurance against the disappointment that your history has taught you is always a possibility. That hedging was intelligent once. It was the correct adaptation to a set of experiences that genuinely warranted it. It protected you from something real. And I am not asking you to pretend that the experiences that produced it did not happen. But the hedge that protected you from past pain is the exact thing that will keep you from fully receiving what is coming. Because what is coming requires your full presence, not the managed version. Not the version with one foot already pointed toward the door just in case. Not the version that processes everything through the filter of what happened last time. Full presence, the terrifying, unhedged, I am actually here and actually available and actually willing to let this be what it is kind of presence that you have not offered to something in a while. Because offering it fully and having it not work has a specific cost. You are still paying the interest on. I know, and I am asking you to do it anyway. Because this time is different, not because I am guaranteeing an outcome. I never do that. But because you are different, because the version of you that is going to meet this person is not the version that got hurt before. It is the version that got hurt and kept going and became someone who knows their own worth in a way that previous versions of you were still figuring out. That version can handle full presence. That version is ready. Let me talk about what the powerful change actually looks like on the ground, in your actual daily life, not in the grand, sweeping, everything transforms overnight sense, but in the real sense. It starts small, a moment, an encounter, something that registers in you with a quality that is different from the ordinary quality of meeting people and moving through your day. Something that makes you pause without knowing why you are pausing. That leaves a specific residue in your awareness that does not dissolve the way most impressions do. You will think about it afterward, more than once. More than seems proportional to what objectively occurred, and each time you return to it, there will be something slightly different in the returning, a new detail noticed, a new layer of the first impression that reveals itself on closer examination, a growing sense that what appeared on the surface was only the beginning of something with considerable depth beneath it. That is the beginning of the powerful change, not a thunderbolt, a recognition. And recognitions, real ones, change everything quietly and completely and without asking permission. I want to say something about what comes after the arrival, because a reading that only describes the arrival without preparing you for what follows is leaving something important out. This person is going to ask something of you, not explicitly, not in the form of a request or a requirement or a condition, in the form of their own example, in the way that someone who lives at a particular level of authenticity and intentionality simply by being who they are makes the people around them more conscious of the places where they are not yet being fully authentic or intentional. They will not demand your growth. They will simply be someone whose presence makes your own growth more visible, more desirable, more possible than it felt before they arrived. That is a gift. But gifts of that kind require something. They require you to be willing to look at the places they illuminate without immediately defending or explaining or redirecting attention away from what is being shown. To be willing to grow in the direction of your own potential without the specific resistance that comes from being too long in a space that stopped requiring growth from you. Can you do that? Not perfectly, not immediately, but directionally, with genuine willingness rather than polite performance. Because that willingness, that genuine openness to becoming more fully yourself in the presence of someone who sees your full self clearly, is the thing that transforms a meeting into a chapter. And this has the potential to be a very significant chapter. One more thing before we close, and this is the thing I feel most urgently about everything in this reading. Stop waiting to feel ready. Ready is not a feeling that arrives before the significant things happen. It is a feeling that arrives after you have already begun, after you have already made the choice to be present, after you have already shown up to something uncertain without the guarantee of a particular outcome. You will not feel ready when this person arrives. You will feel something more complicated than ready, a mixture of recognition and uncertainty, and something that might even feel like fear, but is actually the specific physiological response to something that matters, to something that has stakes, to something that is not casual or comfortable or safe in the way that things we do not care about are safe. You will feel all of that, and you will show up anyway, because you are someone who shows up. That has always been true about you. Through everything, you show up, and what is coming toward you right now is showing up too, from its direction toward yours. The distance between you is closing. Not because anyone orchestrated it, because it was always going to. Leave me something in the comments today. Tell me if you already feel the shift. Tell me what word lives in you right now when you let yourself actually believe that something good is coming. Not might be coming, is coming, because believing it is the first act of receiving it. And you have waited long enough to receive something that is actually worthy of you. Until next time, Virgo, someone is on their way. They do not know everything they are walking toward yet, but something in them already knows it is right. The same way something in you already knows this reading was not an accident. Trust that both of those things are the same signal, pointing in the same direction towards something real. Finally,